Hi again, everyone. I'm Mark Walmsley. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community of over 160,000 now, I think, across our 8 LinkedIn groups. We have the pulse of our community is the networking events and the speed webinars that we do. And some people like to join as full members for the benefits that provides. And that's exactly what Red has done. Red has joined me from North Carolina. Red, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being one of our full members. As you know, we're entirely member funded as an independent community, so it's very much appreciated. Thank you. And some of your $12 or $13 a month will go to help other members in times of need. So it's great. Thank you. So we're going to have some fun today. I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year based on the work that you do. I have a time machine and a magic wand at my disposal, so we can put anything on those stages. But before we do that, perhaps you'd like to say hi to everyone. Tell us a little bit about the writing work that you do, and I'd love to know what you consider your superpower to be, and where your passions lie. So all yours, Red.
Hi, my name is Benbow, and I am a writer. I started writing in 2019 after leaving a very disturbing relationship. And I always wanted to be a writer. I never thought I could be. And back when I was in that relationship, I had no thoughts, no creativity whatsoever. So once I left that relationship in 2019, I started writing, journaling to get my mind together. I was really in a bad place. And the arts saved me, literally saved me. And from that journaling, I started writing poetry. Actually, I'm remarried now. That poetry is what made my wife understand who I was, because I wrote her from my heart. And that helped me start. From that journaling and the poetry that I wrote, I started writing books. I published 2 books so far under my name, and I have over 230 poems written in my phone right now. It's without the arts of writing, I wouldn't be here. And going to joining that first meeting with ACN on that Tuesday meeting, I think it was a Tuesday meeting, opened my eyes up to see that it's so many of us, and nobody really understands you as an artist. Sometimes, I mean, most times they don't understand you, what you go through, what makes your creativity work, and it's the inspiration of just being around real, honest people who depict their lives out in art. And so I love to write. I love to tell the truth. I love to talk to people through my art and through my writing. That's what I do, and I constantly do it. And I feel like my superpower is reading people and seeing the need and telling them the things that I wish somebody would have told me when I was coming up and I didn't have anybody in that corner to guide me in the right direction. So for some reason, God put me on here on this earth, and I run into people and I can feel the energy, and I can just talk to them. And a quick story, I know it's taking long. I ran into a young lady. I'm in Martha's Vineyard right now, and I ran into a young lady, and I was talking to her, and she said she was an athlete, and I said, "Well, what sport did you play?" She said, "I didn't play a sport." I said, "Well, how are you an athlete?" She said, "Well, I'm a swimmer." Da, da, da. I said, "Wait a minute. Say you were you told me you was an athlete and you were a swimmer. So why are you saying you don't play a sport?" And I realized right there in that moment, she had been told too many times that swimming wasn't a sport. And I told her, and this is what I do. I told her, I said, never dim your light for people who really don't care about you. If you're a swimmer, you're an athlete, if I ask you the question, tell me who you are. That's all you need to do. Be who you are. And she smiled at me and I smiled at her and I walked away. And I feel like that's my superpower.
That's fantastic. You've reminded me of one of our other members, Emma Claire Fierce. She's French and she swims in dangerous oceans
Mm,
and creates art while she's doing that. So she does long
mm.
distance, dangerous swims. And she's written an epic book as well that has been inspired by her swimming. So yeah, that's a wonderful thing to be able to do for people, is to reaffirm their value. It really does work. Oh, I think I've lost the camera.
Yeah, you turned it off or something.
Yep, hang on. Let me see if that didn't like that. Um, hold on. Um, this is what happens when you don't edit. Where are we? Let's try that one. See if that works. Video. That's painting the wrong way.
There you go. You're back. You're
Yeah, I'm
back.
back. I'm gonna try go back to the other one. The USB Live. I think it just got turned off for some reason. There we go. I've got a wobbly connection at the back of my screen on the wall there. Red, that's a fantastic superpower to have, to be able to, sense people and provide them with, that just that it could be the tiniest move on the needle for their day, but it could be enough
Yes.
for the day to get better, and I think that's a wonderful superpower to have. Spike Milligan wrote a lovely poem about a smile that traveled the world.
I believe in giving people the roses while they can smell them. You know, a lot of people wait till somebody dies to tell them how much they love them at the casket. They can't hear you at the casket. So give them the roses while they can smell them. I live by that
Yeah,
phrase.
somebody once wrote a short story about a guy who attended a funeral and realized that he was attending his own funeral,
Mm,
and
mm.
he sat in the back of the church, listening to his wife, his spouse, his children, his friends, his work colleagues talking about him. And the
Wow.
lesson of the story was, what do you want them to say? You were the best dad in
It's
the world.
just, the only reason I'm laughing, I was at my aunt's funeral 2 years ago. She died. She was like 96, and I'm sitting at the funeral, and the the inspiration hit me, and it said write a poem, and I wrote a poem called "What Would They Say About You After You Die," and it was literally about they're going to talk about you one way or the other. So live your life so where they talk about you in a way that inspires others. I wrote a poem that day, and I got up and read it to the congregation. I've never done that, and it was just a beautiful thing. I wanted to make sure that she was remembered in the right way. So that you just made me remember that poem. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think you and I might have talked about this last time, but I think Ernest Hemingway was challenged to write a novel using only 6 words that could make you cry.
No, no, we didn't talk about that.
Oh,
What's it
well,
called?
it's not called anything. It's just 6 words. He was
Six
challenged,
words.
6 words only. He was challenged. Can you write a novel using only 6 words that would make me cry? And this is what he came up with: for sale, baby's shoes, never worn. That's a
That's
word.
deep.
That's deep,
That's
isn't it?
deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
We've
really deep.
changed. We've changed. We've learned from that in our family. I'm the games master at dinner, and we often have a game where you've got to describe a movie in 6 words. So, big fish, lots of blood, boat. For
You
George.
know, I'm in Martha's Vineyard right now where they film Jaws.
Oh yeah, 25 years ago, 30 years ago now,
No, it's 50 years ago.
50
They have
years. Oh my
they have
gosh.
the shirts out right now. They have all that up. The bridge where he came into the harbor is right around the corner.
Oh
It's
wow.
amazing that you said that, and I'm sitting right here now. Wow.
I know. Isn't that strange? Funny. Anyway, right, now we're going to have some fun.
Okay.
I'm going to take you on a cultural year based on your writing. Okay.
All right.
And the kind the topic is going to be um the benefit of creativity for well-being. Okay. And to start, I need to place you somewhere in the world. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite building?
Yeah. It's a great question. What is my favorite building? Um, I'll say I'm from Winston-Salem. I'll say the RJ Reynolds headquarters building that was built back in the day when they started in Winston-Salem. Their headquarters building is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The Empire State Building was based off of that building. So that's my favorite building.
Was it the Audrey? Did you say the Audrey
Hmm?
Reynolds? Audrey Reynolds.
RJ, RJ,
RJ Reynolds. Okay.
RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company.
Let me show everyone. Um, what's it called? Is it an audit? Is it?
RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The headquarters building. You should see it when you pull it up.
Okay, we'll find it. Images. RJ Reynolds HQ.
Let's see if you could, because the
Oh,
original
right.
HQ.
Yeah. Okay, let me see it. Tell me if I found the right place.
Yes, that's it. The tall one, the tall is the Empire State Building was based off of that design. Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's great. And it's all lit up at night. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a great place. So I'd like you to imagine that you're sitting at a pavement cafe within sight of the R.J. Reynolds headquarters building, and it's sunny, it's 6 p.m., it's a June evening, and there is a drink next to you. What would we find
Hmm.
there? Mhm.
Jack and Coke with a twist of lime.
Jack
That's my
Daniels
drink.
Coke with a
Twist of lime.
I'm a rum and Coke guy. So fantastic. There's also a book there, Red. Um,
Yeah.
it could be your favorite book, it could be a recent discovery, or it could be a book that's been with you all your life. What book would I find next to you?
It would be my life, my journey, my 28 years with a narcissist.
Wow. Is who wrote that?
Me.
You.
It's been written. I'm editing it right now, but it's my life story of my journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's yeah, absolutely it's there. Okay, now
Yes.
you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because
Hmm.
you've just come from a meeting in the R.J. Reynolds building, and you've had a meeting with a North Carolina-based family foundation who like to support the arts. Okay. They've heard
Hmm.
about you and the work you do and your experiences and life experiences, and they'd like to hire you for a year. Okay.
Hmm.
The fee is quite big, and it's first class all the way. They would like you to
Okay.
travel the world to identify where the arts and mental well-being are most highly respected. Okay. So that they can invest where it's not yet. Okay, so we all know the mental and physical benefits of engaging in creative activities. Art therapy classes in the UK, doctors can prescribe art therapy classes now, and they're free,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
So how does that sound?
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's needed.
yeah, so you're going to create this kind of global league table of arts and health, okay, based on your experiences and your writing and how important that is. And there'll also be the opportunity to meet like-minded people and share some of your superpowers of being able to touch people's lives for a moment and have it make a
Hmm.
difference, which I think is a wonderful superpower to have. So there'll be it's first class all the way, all over the world. You'll have a personal assistant keeping things okay at home. Friends and family can come and visit you while you're away. There'll be a TED talk in it when you get back. There's a book deal and a TV series. And when you come home, having done this work, you'll be invited to do a global university lecture tour. Okay. Does that sound like fun?
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, doesn't
Yes.
it? So all I have to do is place you somewhere else in the world to start that. So if you were given that task, where would you want to go from the R.J. Reynolds building? Where in the world? You can go to any city in any country.
Well, I'm weird. So it's either going to be Pittsburgh or it's going to be New Orleans, Louisiana. And it's just because of the spirit, the universal spirit, and you can feel the energy in both cities because they have such a deep history. So I've been to New Orleans and experienced New Orleans. It's very spiritual, but probably I would say Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania right now.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay, you're on the
Hmm.
plane. Okay.
Hmm.
You turned left on the plane because you're traveling first class,
Okay.
and the steward brings you two things. They bring you a JD and Coke with a twist of lime
Hmm.
and a note from the Wealthy Family Foundation who are paying for this trip. They have a
Okay.
challenge for you. It's a musical challenge.
Hmm.
They want you to limit your musical listening to one very specific genre of music for 12 months, to the exclusion of all else. What would you
Hmm.
choose if you had to do that?
It'd be the blues.
Lovely. Who might be, are there any artists who would appear on your playlist?
Bobby Blue Bland, Albert King, BB King, Muddy Waters. I love the old blues because they tell the real story of life. They depicted how it was. The blues, you live the blues. You know, when you if I forgot what the artist said, but if you live long enough, you're gonna sing the blues, and it's just the truth. It's an art form that they kind of like destroyed, but it really tells the true story of humanity in some of the deepest, darkest places, and they put it out there for you to feel it, and I feel it every time I listen to it.
Fantastic choice. Wonderful. Okay, so you arrive in Pittsburgh, and a group of young creative students are invited to take you under their wing. I don't know Pittsburgh particularly well, but you go to the nice bit, the posh bit. You've got a beautiful loft apartment overlooking the city, and they say, right, we're going to unpack, make yourself comfortable. We're going to come back and take you to a dance performance, and then we're going to take you out to dinner. Now,
Hmm.
this is where the time machine and the magic wand come in, because I can put on the stage in front of you any dance performance. It can be any group, any dancers, living or not, and any dance style. So in those circumstances, what kind of dance performance would you like to watch? You can go back in time, you can choose anything you like.
What my wife has turned me on to, probably ballet,
Beautiful.
because where I grew up, I didn't understand it. It was weird to me. I didn't understand. But the more I've gotten into the arts, ballet, and the dance and opera and all that stuff, it makes so much more sense to me. So it's just the beauty and elegance of the ballet that I would watch.
Perfect. That's a great choice. Love it. And what about a cuisine for dinner at the restaurant afterwards? You can have anything you like.
Well, I'm a vegetarian, so it would have to be. I probably like to try a vegan restaurant because since I've been a vegetarian 3 years now, and I've tried some vegan restaurants that are doing amazing things with mushrooms and different things. So I would like to try out their best vegan restaurant in town.
Okay, it's yours. Now we're going to buzz again to another city, anywhere in the world. Where are we going next?
Seattle,
Seattle. Okay,
Seattle, Washington.
so we're up into the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
Fantastic. Which is where Ben lives, who does this work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's up there. He goes out in the open, in the lakes and the forests and the mountains, and puts a big canvas out and just paints. But he hides a computer chip in them. That if you can find the computer chip with your phone, it plays a video of the creation of the work. So there we go.
Okay.
Another coincidence for us today. Fantastic. Um, so we're in Seattle, and now it's sport day in Seattle. Okay,
Okay.
and we had breakdancing in the Olympics last year, so some sport is considered performance art. So again, you don't have to stick in American culture. You can have anything you like. But if I could put a 2 hour sporting event in front of you, what would you like to watch?
You know, being American, I'm very, I love football and I actually play basketball, but I love American football more than anything. But I need to open up my horizon. I don't know what I would pick outside of American football because Seattle has a great football. It's a great football town. They have the Seahawks and they have a
Seahawks,
great
yeah.
following. Yes, so it'd probably be football right
Football.
now. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to buzz again. Where else are we going? Are we leaving the United States? You seem to.
Yeah, we can leave. I want to visit London, and not because you're in London, because I did my ancestry, and I have Scottish DNA, I have Irish, and I also have Wales and Sweden and Denmark. But I want to visit London for the history of it. I've never. London has so much history. I love history, so I want to follow. Like I want to get in with a group tour that shows me the real history that I can see as I travel through London because I have never been to London. I want to visit London.
Yeah, we're so close. We're 50 minutes on the train, which is very lucky for us. And of course, I host our meetings there at the end of every
Hmm.
month. But yeah, it's London is actually two cities. It's there's the City of London, which is a square mile, and then
Hmm.
there's Westminster, which is where to the west. Um,
Okay.
so it's technically two different cities with different authorities running it. And I was walking around the City of London, which is the financial district, um, and there was a homeless guy sitting on the street, and he said to me, for 50 pence, I'll tell you something you don't know about London. So he was like a kind of tour guide guy. And I spent about £2.50 with him because I was so interested. So I gave him 50p, and he asked me the question. He said, "How many roads are there in the city of London?" Which is a square mile, you know. And I thought, crikey, how many? About, I don't know, 1,000, 500? And he said, "No, there are none." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "They're all streets, alleys, and squares. There's nothing, none of the, the streets in in the city of London are called roads. They're all called something different." So I love
Okay.
I said, "Right, give me another one." So yeah, London is a lovely place. So we're in London, and we can do we're going to do lots of things. The first thing we're doing is we're going to in our fantasy world here, we're going to an art gallery together. It's a digital gallery, and you put on a pair of virtual reality glasses, and you can step into the work of a famous artist. And it's 360 degrees. It's three-dimensional. There's movement and sound. So which famous artist's work would you like to step into and see?
Funny you asked this question because his exhibit is in my hometown, Winston, right now. It'd be Vincent Van Gogh.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that the immersive Vincent show is great, isn't it? But this is
Yeah.
actually in your head,
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
even better. So you can walk past that cafe, look at the starry night, you know,
Mm,
fantastic. Now you and I are going out in London every night this week. Okay.
okay.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Monday, we're going back in time to a historic music concert
Ah,
of your choice. Um,
Queen.
hang on, I'll come back. I'll come back.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Tuesday we're going to the theatre.
Okay.
Wednesday we're going to a Broadway or West End musical.
Okay.
Thursday we're going to the opera, and Friday we're going to the movies. And between us, we can choose what we see. So, did you go to see Queen or?
Oh, I grew up Queen when they came out. Another One Bites the Dust. I grew up in the urban side of town, and I wasn't exposed until MTV came out to pop music, really pop music. But when Queen came out with Another One Bites the Dust, that bass line, it just opened up another world. And I started listening to all the Queen. Queen is one of the most amazing groups I've ever witnessed. I watched it. I watched me and my wife loved when we watched the movie when it came out with it. We love it. I love Queen. I love a lot of British. I'm from the 80s. I was born in 72. I was raised in the 80s. Became conscious in the 80s. So the MTV generation brought the British wave over. And so there's so many British groups I love, but Queen and Elton John, you know, would
Mm,
be a lot of them. I love music, all types, all music. Good music is good music. Queen, I would love to see if I could go back in time to see them personally. What was it? The Aid, what was it
Live Aid, Live
Live
Aid.
Aid?
Yeah,
Yeah, when Freddie Mercury, that was his like he was really sick, but he really performed really well there. I wish I could be there.
yeah.
Really do.
They stole the show. They really did. And
Yes,
um, auto tune was invented after he stopped performing.
for
So
real.
yeah, so that was just him, on the recordings. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Yes.
Excellent. That's a great one to start. Now we're in London and we're going to the theatre, so we could go to the Globe, Shakespeare's Globe, if you wish, or another theatre play. What should we watch? And we can go back in time as well.
See, I'm just not getting exposed. My wife exposed me to the theater. So I don't know exactly which one I would like to see because she's from Brooklyn and she's more well-rounded. She's more world traveled. So she's shown me different things. So she exposed me to things and I instantly fall in love with it. So I would have to have somebody suggest certain things and then I don't fight it. I go, so
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, we're going to go to the Globe Theatre on the River Thames, Shakespeare's Globe, and we're going to go and see a Shakespeare play called Measure for Measure, which
Okay.
features a lead character called Angelo who does some horrible things despite being a good man.
Oh wow.
And it's an incredible introduction to human frailty and lack of control. He knows he's doing it. He knows he shouldn't be doing it. He can't stop himself doing it. He's at heart, he's a good man, but he's doing these
Mhm.
crazy things. So that'll be Measure for
I
Measure.
would love to see that play.
Yeah,
Love
it's
to see it.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, this morning I interviewed a Shakespeare specialist, and that was his favorite. So,
Okay.
so I think that comes highly recommended. So now, what about a Broadway musical or a Broadway musical or a West End musical, as we call them? What are we going to go and see?
I used to, when I was a kid, I used to hate musicals. And then Annie came out, and I loved Annie. And my wife asked me last year, have I seen the Sound of Music?
Hmm.
And as a kid, I was like, I've never watched that. And so she made me watch. She turned it on, and that was one of the best movies, musicals I've ever seen in my life because it's more than just a musical. It just tells a beautiful story. So I don't know if they do that over there, but I would love to see that on a stage.
Yeah,
The
we can do
Sound of
that.
Music.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah.
that on the stage, and
Okay.
it's a long piece. You've got the
Yeah.
Nazis coming in, you've got the war background, all sorts of things going on, but wonderful music, wonderful music.
Yes.
Okay, so Thursday is opera night at the Royal Opera House in London. I can suggest something, or you can choose something.
I want to see. I know he ain't in London. I want to see Pavarotti.
Okay.
Pavarotti is one of the greatest singers ever to grace the stage, and I would love to see Pavarotti.
Okay, well, we in that case we're going to go back in time because I know he did it. He performed in La Boheme, Puccini's La Boheme, some of the really big arias in that.
Mm.
And did you know he never learned to read music?
No, I
Yeah,
never knew that.
it was all just by, you know,
But
what,
you could feel him when he sang.
oh, it's
So it didn't matter. He was the greatest
yeah,
to me.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
fantastic. And now to round off the week, we're going to the movies. We're going to go on big screen, huge sound, and and you get to choose the movie.
What? You're gonna laugh at this.
Hmm.
I love Smokey and the
So do
Bandit.
I. So do I.
I own,
Dom DeLuise is one of
yeah,
the funniest guys. You know.
I own a trucking company. That's my way of making my living for 25 years, and it's nothing like Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run.
Mm,
My some of my favorite ones because they got some of the biggest stars in them, and they get to just be themselves, and it's just I love Smokey and the Bandit. It's just me.
yeah. Is it Sally Field who was in it as well?
Sally Field's in
Yeah.
it, Jackie Gleason, Burt Reynolds,
Dom
uh, the,
DeLuise.
the singer Jerry Reed. I don't think Dom. I think he's in Cannonball Run.
Oh, okay. But he
Yeah,
was.
he's in Cannonball Run. He's in an ambulance with him.
Oh
Is
yeah.
it? Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's hilarious. It's
It
just,
is.
and it also reminds me when it was a simpler time in my life. Every time I watch it, it takes me back there. But I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great one. Now we're nearly there. Okay, I'm gonna send you off to do this wonderful year of study and interviews, and you get the TED Talk, the movie deal, the TV series, the book deal, and the university lecture tour. But before you go off and travel and to complete this project, I'm going to give you a hero lunch. We're in London. I'm going to book a top vegan restaurant in London for you for a 2 hour leisurely lunch. And you can invite one person, okay? And they will come, and you can choose anyone, living or not, famous or otherwise. Who would you choose?
If I'm in London, it'd be Margaret Thatcher.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a big history buff. I remember the reverence and the power in Margaret Thatcher. In America, we never had a female president or whatever. But and Winston Churchill. Good Lord, which one would it be?
Mm,
Because they it had to be Winston Churchill. I'd take that back. It had to be Winston Churchill because I just watched his documentary on Netflix. Toward the beginning of the year or in the last year. He had so much foresight and knowledge when they was in the house and he was telling them what was about to happen. They were like just clowning him and like, you a warmonger. I know he was saying we got to get this done. It's going to happen. Without Winston Churchill, there would be no London. There would be. I don't think we would have defeated the Germans. His leadership and the way he got Franklin Delano Roosevelt to come in. Eventually, he was just very intelligent man, but I don't really think he gets the accolades he really deserves. I
Yeah,
love history, so when you ask these questions, I really go into my mindset that it would be Winston Churchill, no
okay.
doubt.
That would be my wife's choice as well. She's a fanatic. Yeah, we went to his grave and laid flowers on it a few years ago.
For real.
Yeah,
Okay, wow.
yeah. Excellent. Now there we go. Red, that's your fantasy cultural year complete.
Yeah,
As expected, it brought out surprises and anecdotes, which is fantastic. I hope you enjoyed it. Did you enjoy your
I
fantasy?
really did enjoy this. I'm a Pisces. I live in my head. When I write so people can get away from their problems, read my stories, and live in the story and forget about everything that's going on in the world. So this is what this allowed me to do again.
That's fantastic. Well, that's another coincidence because I'm Pisces as well. So there we go.
Wow. Okay.
Red, thank you so much. Please don't dash off, but for the time
Okay.
being, thank you so much for doing this. Wherever this appears, a YouTube channel, they'll be on our website and SoundCloud and Spotify, and there'll be a profile about you, and we'll have it on our LinkedIn group as well. But for the time being, thanks again for being one of our full members, and thank you for doing this. It's been a real eye opener, and everyone will feel as though they've got to know you a bit better. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you, Red. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I really did.
thank you so much.